to earn an extra Benny by telling us what the hell happened last session.
Got pretty violent. Not unexpectedly violent, but
hmm
I did not see enough of the things that occurred to have a clear memory of them. Like, Ted,
Let's see
what
if
was the thing that
this
you guys were really
helps.
fighting?
That
The
would be the
tailor.
tailor.
The
Oh,
A
that's
tailor
man with some
and the
sort
skin
of
folk, the flayed folk.
yeah. He had a
oh,
bunch of people that had been cooked, not cooked, skinned, and he had a contraption. That's the word I was originally looking for. That was allowing him to shoot ice and do all kind of other nasty stuff. Summon some rain, or no, it was like a mist in the room. That was kind of like a drug, I guess. It sort of showed people terrifying things, and by people, I think I mean Thomas almost exclusively. I think Thomas had destroyed it by the time anyone else got up there. Um, but once he got, and the other flayed critters that were pretending to not be flayed critters, they were pretending to be people in need of rescuing from coffins. Once they were all taken care of, Franklin and Joan heard a commotion behind us. Somebody shouting about they left the damn doors open, and then gunshots. Essentially, we are now trapped in the area that is under the grave that we went into last session, and the rest of I'm assuming these are hellhounds, and they're kind of dead buddy squad are now where we were 2 sessions ago.
I'm
Or a
pretty
session
sure
ago.
these zombies were just here, right? I think they were just like naturally. That's what we
I thought
heard.
they brought him with them.
They're the zombies and skeletons in the graves, and they're just coming out of the graves and coming down. And the people that woke up were the people that we knocked out, and that are
Sean
waking
has
up,
it
and then
correct.
that are terrified that we did not state we closed the door, so they got in.
I was gonna say,
So
how
God,
would
I
we
missed
know? But
that bit
we
of
did
context.
know.
Yeah, I missed that bit of context because I was up front dealing with the tailor. He
Yeah,
was a real creepy dude.
yeah, they're not on the same team because they've killed the hellhounds. They're just mindless undead. Well, I don't know how mindless they are, but
right.
they're
These
certainly not
are
working together.
right. That is correct. These are undead that,
Cody has
according
lost
to
internet.
Awesome. Um, so these are undead that, according to the story, fucking Sean. um, According to the story from the Tombstone Tattler, um, crawl out of their graves at night in this town and rebury themselves in the morning. And apparently, they have crawled themselves out of the grave and found this open passage and found their way into it.
I had assumed that those stories were talking about the skin things that these guys were digging up. So that's why I thought they brought them with them.
Right. Right. Awesome read on a story from a pretty tabloid-esque newspaper, but it seems that there are literal undead that have unburied themselves. Well, I mean, you haven't been to the top yet, but it sounds like the people down here are familiar with this phenomenon. And as it stands, Franklin, I believe, is the only one who's poked his head around the corner and seen them marching down the hallway and dispatching the two previously unconscious hellhounds. Um,
I think it was Franklin and Joan, perhaps.
Joan, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I didn't know if
Does-
Joan made it around to the corner, but the two of them were there at the door.
Joan was in the room right there, but like
Mhm.
came actually. Well, Franklin is the only person that rode the stealth check to like look around the corner.
Mhm. Excellent.
Yeah, we're all a bit spread out at the moment too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted, why don't you give yourself another Benny for catching us up? The only other detail that I will add is that there was a fair number of items recovered
Yep.
from a sort of secret room that was entered by swimming through a passage in this pool of water. Many of those items
In the Taylor's
were,
Weird Science Lab.
yeah, absolutely. Many of those items could either easily be identified or had identifying marks or instructions with them. Some of them, a few of them, did not. And in addition, you found maps and notes corresponding with someone named Alberta Bell, who is also identified as the Herald of the Hellhounds, discussing various other tributaries of the Mississippi River where these flayed bodies might be placed. You were able to deduce that because the 3 locations, including the Red River Mill, were already on that map. And so it seemed like a pretty logical leap that that's all of these places were either locations that they have set up or places they were considering to set up.
In
Well-
addition,
Mhm.
it appears that the tailor gave instruction to a one skin jacket or flesh jacket
Yeah.
that squirmed its way through a really tiny crack to get out of this place to do who knows what. And
Yep.
so we were about to try to leave this place to go find
Yep.
what that's doing and make sure it didn't like get to the people that we know live around the area.
Excellent. Fantastic. Cody, let me check in with you, right? Are you joining us via your cell phone?
It just came back.
Okay, excellent.
I was listening though via the phone.
Yeah, no worries.
It's
I was asking because I was getting ready to explain a little bit of what's going on, and I'm going to vamp a little bit longer to allow you to get in. The first thing I want to do is explain that.
Oh, you might have to reset me, it looks like.
Yeah, I have booted you,
Okay.
right? So it may be a few
Yeah, I'll get
moments,
it.
but yeah. Where did I put this? Okay. So as has been mentioned, the tailor and the various flayed individuals have been dispatched. As you were considering gathering your things and heading out to try and find the flesh jacket that escaped, you heard the screaming from down the hall, including the concern that y'all had not closed the coffin that you opened in order to find the passage to get down here. Franklin and Joan have poked their head around the corner and seen the hallway that leads to the stairs that lead to the passage that lead to the ladder to the coffin, And what they have both seen, and I'm sure will describe to the rest of the party, looks a little bit like this. The hall
Incredible.
just filled
You hate to
with
see it.
right, the hall just filled with shambling undead. I would say that what they probably see, it's not strictly skeletons. There are probably some zombies in there as well. Basically, corpses
Diversity.
in various stages of decomposition are working their way down the hall.
Very
those.
Scooby Doo of Zombie Island.
Yes.
Yeah. Love those bones. You look so thin, Queen.
Right. Now, what is it that you all, how would you like to deal with this particular problem?
I know Thomas and Abigail are messing around with that like gas contraption. So we don't even know about we don't know about the skeletons yet, but we do know people were heading that direction.
Mhm.
I have to look at its powers, so give me some time.
Okay. Well, let me say this, right? Don't worry about specific actions, right? Let's think in general, right? What you want to do, right? And among the options that I can think of, right? I only share these to give you an idea of what sort of the level of generality that I'm looking for, right? Are you thinking about trying to bust out of here, like bust through these zombie hordes as they're, coming down, right? Are you thinking about just trying to fight all these things off? Are you thinking about trying to barricade yourselves, right? Those are three options that I can think of, but it's that sort of level of generality that I'm looking for when I ask the question in terms of what the plan is. I'm not at all thinking about round by round or action by action.
I think we have to go through. Like, I know there's a hole in the wall, but I don't really trust the integrity of like busting it down and going through that way.
How do you feel about barricading?
Dude, how will we? I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah, we can do that, and we can just hang
The-
out here. Yeah.
The best option.
I mean,
to
if they're
have.
gonna put themselves to bed in the morning,
Oh yeah. Well,
It might be our best choice because I have no PowerPoints, and we might
Well,
be bet. Well, it's just as we might. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Should we be talking in character, or are we okay to talk out of character?
no, you can absolutely talk out of character, and actually, this will help inform the situation, I think. This is because of the length of time and the number of creatures that we're talking about. This is not going to be a standard combat situation, right? What we are going to interact with is, at least for me, and I presume for most of us, a new mechanic in Savage World called the dramatic task mechanic, right? I invite all of you, since once again, I am new to this as well, right? If you open up the PDF, the rules for it are on page 122, right? And the rules for dramatic tasks take up 2 pages, right? The way this works, right? According to the rules and according to the way I've sort of set things up, I've made a couple little changes here, but for a mildly difficult task that a party is involved in, the game suggests that the average number of tokens that should be acquired per round by a party is 1 success token per individual, right? And so the way this works is your character will describe what it is they want to do on their turn. I will then say, okay, that sounds like the following skill, right? We will probably then have some conversation about whether or not that's the skill that we want to use. If you can make an argument that it's a convincing argument that it's a different skill, I'm certainly open to that, right? A success, right, on your roll gives you 1 token. A success with a raise gives you 2 tokens.
Oh, it's like
Right.
a skill challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, if I remember, I was actually thinking about this, Ted. Weren't they called like skill clocks in 4E? Like, is that what you had
Mm-mm.
told me? Yeah.
Skill challenge in 4E. Skill clocks are from Blades in the Dark.
Okay. Gotcha. So, yeah, it's very similar to that. The difference, right, is that if you don't succeed on your skill check, there is no failure token. All right. So this isn't a situation where you have to get X number of success tokens before Y number of failure tokens, right? In this case, you just need to get X number of success tokens. Furthermore, right, this is not a binary state, right? This is not a binary challenge. It's not win or lose, right? Which is why I have several clocks over here on the right. What I have set, right, is that this is going to last 3 rounds, right? And for a complete and total success, right, which involves simply taking a D4 on a complete and total success, you have however it is you decide to deal with these creatures, right? You have dealt with them successfully, right? And you will simply get, everyone will roll a D4, and that's the amount of damage that you get, right? Most likely meaningless for all of you, right? And if you are fully successful, this is what all of the clocks will look like, right? That's, if I've done the math correctly, 11, 3, 6, 9, yeah, that's 21 tokens, right? If you only get 20 tokens, right, it will look like this. And in addition to that D4, you will receive an additional D6 of damage. Right? And that's 20, 19, 18. So if you get 18 successes, so an average of 1 success per character per round, right? That's 18 tokens. That would be 1d6 and 1d4 of damage. If you do worse than that, right, you'll get additional damage. So there's, for the next 3, right, it's, if you get 15 or more, it's an additional 2d6 of damage. If you get 12 or more, if you only get 12, right, it's extra 3d6 of damage. If you don't get to 12, it's just a straight up failure and you're overrun, and I'll explain what happens under that circumstance. Anybody have any questions so far? Great. Just to reiterate, we'll draw initiative cards as normal. That'll be how all the turns go. For each turn, tell me what you want to do. I'll assign a skill roll to that. If you want to negotiate with me, or we can certainly do that. And then based on the results, you will either get no tokens, 1 token, or 2 tokens. Okay. The next bit of important information about how this works. There are, as I've stated already, there are no failure tokens, right? And so this is just going to go the 3 rounds, with one exception. There is one way to short circuit and just fail this outright, right? And that is as follows, and this is important, right? For your initiative card, if your initiative card is the suit of clubs, that means there has been a complication on your turn. And you take your rolls at a -2.
Cool.
Yeah. If
Cool.
you fail on a turn where your initiative card is the suit of clubs, then the entire endeavor is a failure, and however many tokens the party has received at that point will be the total number of tokens. So failure when your initiative card is a club is really, really bad. Here's the good news, right? At any point when it's you, on any turn you have, right, regardless of whether your card is a club or not, right, you can either choose to just support someone else, or you can just pass entirely, right? If your card is a club and you choose to pass entirely, well, then nothing happens other than the party loses an opportunity to gain tokens, right? If you choose to support somebody, you make that support roll at -2, but the failure to support, if you fail on that support roll, it doesn't count as failing the challenge, right? The only way it counts as failing a challenge is if you have a club as your initiative card and you fail that skill check. Anybody have any question about that particular failure state of the club as an initiative card?
No, clubs
No.
are bad.
Clubs are bad. And so, just strategy-wise, right, I think it is safe to say that early on, it's probably a really bad idea, right, to try any skill checks on when you have a club, right? Probably best to support people or just pass entirely. However, as it gets later and later and you see how many success tokens you've actually got, right? If you're reaching the end and it's like, well, like we don't have that many more opportunities anyway, and we need more tokens than I think we've got to change, then it might be worth risking it. Right? At least that's my read on the situation.
Yeah, I think that tracks.
Yeah. A couple additional things here. Because of the nature of what's going on in this particular instance, right? I'm changing one rule a little bit, and that is the way this is supposed to work is a critical failure. So rolling 2 1s, right, on your skill die and the wild die, normally results in loss of a success token. In this case, I'm actually going to change that, and because you guys have been up for quite a while, and this endeavor, however you choose to deal with it, is going to go on for some period of time, right? I'm going to say that if you roll a critical failure, that is going to count as you gaining 1 level of fatigue.
Cool.
You're only going to gain 1 level of fatigue in this fight, or in this encounter, right? And all of you are those of you that don't gain one from a critical failure on a skill check are going to have to roll at the end of this, right, to see whether or not you gain. You're going to have to make I think it's a vigor roll, right?
Sure is.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. All right.
Nice. Nice.
Right. So, like in a weird way, Ted. Well, I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
Like, in a weird way, it's actually better for you to get
But
a
what
critical
you're saying
failure on a
is
skill
I
check.
need to crit fail.
Right.
Got it.
Right. Right. So,
Better to crit fail the skill check than the vigor check at the end.
yes, absolutely. Right. The other thing that I am going to add to this, again, because we're sort of playing loosey-goosey and this is not specifically combat, it is over a length of period of time, is that those of you with spells or with PowerPoints and or ammunition, right, you can use those or that specific skill, right, for one of your 3 checks, after which we are just going to sort of hand wave that you're out of PowerPoints or ammunition. Right. Cornelius, I'm terribly sorry. You do not get additional PowerPoints to use.
I know, I
right.
know, but I did
So-
get 3 bennies, so I do have one
Yes.
chance to cast one spell by rolling one hand.
Um,
Maybe.
Yeah, right. I mean, you can certainly do that, right? But I will also point out that making these skill checks, right, you can re-roll them by spending a penny, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. Also, right, you may, right, I want to give you guys, since this is new to all of us, I want to give you as much information as possible, right? I think you guys are probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right. Asterisks. Above statement might not apply to Thomas. That said, right, you might want to hold on to a Benny, right? Depending on how things are going, you make this decision on the fly, but if things don't look great, you might want to hold on to a Benny to try and soak some damage at the end of all of this. Right? I think you will be fine. I think that percentage chances are low for most of you, right? That we could even do enough damage to incapacitate you. Right? Which leads me to the one other change that two other changes that I'm making. Right? One is that if anyone is incapacitated and therefore has to make that immediate roll for which, if any, injuries they might be suffering. Normally, a crit failure on that initial roll, I can't remember the exact language for what the name of that roll is, but that roll, once you become incapacitated, usually if you crit fail that, it's instant death, right? I'm taking that off the table just because this is the first time we're all doing this. None of us really know how this is going to work out. I did the best I could, right? I want people to have an opportunity, right, to avoid that or at least get healed should it get that serious. Along those lines, right, again, highly unlikely that this is going to be necessary, right? But if this goes way further south, way faster than I believe it will, right, we may just pull the plug on this endeavor or rework things on the fly, right? So I ask for everyone's patience while we try this out for the first time and cross our fingers that it is enjoyable. Sound good to everybody?
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Given that that's what we're doing, or that's how we're doing it, I should say, the question is back to the party. What are you doing? What's the plan? How do you plan to survive the night against these creatures?
Are we gonna be loosey goosey about our movement capabilities in
absolutely.
this moment? Because
Absolutely.
technically we'd have to it'd spend rounds trying to tell
Yeah,
people
no,
on the
no.
opposite sides of this thing what's happening.
No. Basically, in terms of all of that, right? Who knows what? Everybody knows everything, and everybody's exactly where they want to be, right? At any given time, right? We're not doing this by rounds. Like, just as an example, this is the easiest way for me to think about it, right? If it's the case that you decide to barricade yourselves in here, right? Well, you'll probably have to barricade yourselves in here for 12 hours, right? So we'll consider the first round 4 hours, the second round another 4 hours, and the third round another 4 hours, right? Just trying to think of things on the fly. I think Franklin had mentioned trying to push, like he doesn't know about barricading. So if it's pushing through, like the first 4 hours would be in this facility, right? The next 4 hours would be making your way through the corridor and up the ladder. And the final 4 hours would be fighting your way out of the graveyard. Right. So it's all sort of theater of mind stuff. Don't worry about where you are. Don't worry about who would know or who wouldn't know. Everybody knows everything. You all can communicate. And it's just time to come up with a plan.
Will the logistics of the map matter for this?
The only way the logistics of the map will matter, right, is if you are trying to barricade yourselves somewhere, then it'll matter a little bit, but even then, it's really just about, okay, show me where the barricade or barricades are going, and then just, theater of mind, describe to me what those barricades are made. Like, how are you barricading things? There's a couple different options that I can think of. I'm sure you guys can think of even more.
Max, is your question more related to should we be on the map right now?
Yeah.
Well, the
Should
reason
we know? Just wondering if, because my initial thought is barricading, and knowing if appropriate resources are available before sticking my vote to that.
I think it would be helpful to see the map again as well, just because I don't remember
What
the
was
full
behind you?
situation on where we
Oh,
are.
you guys
Yeah,
aren't. I'm sorry. I thought I had moved you all to the map. My apologies. I thought you guys were all there already.
No worries.
Interesting.
Thought it was a
There
mystery.
it goes. Yeah. No. Yeah. Sorry about that. The good news is I did remember to unpause the game this time. First time I think I was able to do that
Hey.
unprompted. Just didn't bother to bring you to the appropriate location.
Because at this point, I think Abigail's suggestion is to go into the lab and barricade
Yeah.
from there, and hope that skeletons don't notice to swim under the water.
True.
I think it's barricade by the room before the gates, close the gates.
And I thought we broke those.
There's one gate that's functional, right?
That's correct. That's
Yeah.
correct.
So barricade the room
yeah.
ahead, and then barricade the top gate, which is the one that works. And then going into the lab is also a good final place
Actually,
as well.
let's do this. I mean, you guys have all seen everything at this point, right? So I think, can you now see the full map?
Sure can.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. The couple things to make clear. Zombie tokens that are here are not at all related to the number of zombies. Zombies just keep coming, right?
Yeah, there's a horde.
Yeah.
Oh,
To the point.
Change form.
Right. To the point that Sean was making. The gate at this entrance and the gate at this entrance were destroyed. However, the gate at this entrance is now up and open, but the lever that is located here will close that gate. Also, Franklin is standing by the one working door that you have seen in this building. And the room that he and Joan are in filled, you see table, couple chairs, looks like some bookshelves, right? So there's some furniture in there. There's some furniture in this room. There's some furniture in this room. There's a couple busted coffins here. There's the machine that Thomas smashed over here. And then you all are aware of items in the tailor's workshop.
So if we barricade, we have at least 2 points initially of barricade. One, the first door. The second, the actual gate, if we want to barricade on top of the gate.
Which we
Uh,
should.
I mean, yeah, the name of the game is stall. So
Yep.
if we want to barricade the tunnel underwater between, that would be the coffins, probably, right? It would be the easiest way to like take. They can get past it probably, but we can kill 1 or 2 of them as they flail past, right?
I'm going to oppose us hiding out in the lab because then we have to leave. If we barricade ourselves in that lab, we're trapped. We've made a tomb.
Yeah. I mean, if we're pushed that far back, it's already
Right.
dangerous anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
like
This whole place is
castle
already
rules,
a
you know,
tomb.
we close the first door and hold that barricade while we get the next barricade ready. Like we just keep holding the gate and then retreating deeper in as we need to.
Yeah. The point only being, Cody, that like if we focus on the lab, we have a very real chance of maybe not getting out after the fact.
Well,
No, that's
we
just
have
like
some
time and
warning.
effort to like get out. You know.
If it's if the construction's underwater, am I misunderstanding where that would go?
Yeah, I think they're talking about like blockage of the hole under the water.
Right.
But to undo that, right? Because we don't have any dynamite to blow ourselves in
No, we
and
wouldn't,
collapse
like,
anything.
collapse the tunnel. We'd only
Yeah,
be able to just like shove some shit in the way.
Yeah, he's talking about just blockages, which to undo is just time and effort. Does any Oni brought it up first? So do we want to try to fight our way through?
I
No.
Honestly, I think Joan would be good at that.
The problem with fighting our way through is an entire town's worth of zombies upstairs that are going to hear and are probably already walking in this direction because they've heard.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
about to
they're
reload after one point.
right. So
yeah, it's the World War
I
Z
think fighting
problem
our
of
way
there's so
out.
fucking many.
I think fighting our way out leads to a has a very real survival possibility, but a higher possible collateral.
Well,
No,
we
wait, that's not the right
also,
fucking word. Jesus. Anyway.
as we fight our way out, there is no room for if somebody gets hurt, right? There's no wing you can take that person off
Right.
to relax or to take care
Heal.
of them, right? If we're
Well,
doing a
let me
siege, we have the advantage of the defense.
let me jump in here a little bit, right? For just more mechanical information, right? Nobody's getting hurt while this is going on, right? We're going to do all the skill checks and we're going to roll the damage afterwards, right? And so you don't need to worry, right, about, oh, well, what if someone goes down in the middle of this? Not going to happen. It's not combat, right? We're just telling the story here. And so mechanically speaking, right, the only real difference in anything, right, that you do, right, is what skill checks you can bring to bear to, affect those situations. And so my recommendation in this situation would be worry a little bit less about what tactically might be the best thing, because we're not doing moment by moment checks. We're not going to, have a situation where, oh, this very second, like someone breaks through. What do we do in that second? No, we're doing this in 4-hour chunks, right? So I would focus more on, hey, what's the coolest fucking story to tell? What's the coolest thing to do? Because again, mechanically, it doesn't, regardless of what you do, you're just making skill checks. Does
I'm
that make
sold.
sense?
I want to go through that.
Yeah, we're just gonna get in this fucking place and die. Let's get the hell out of here. I want to breathe the fresh air again.
Yeah.
Right now, to be fair, right, there is the argument, right, that hey, if you've got great skill checks for one, course of action and horrible skill checks for another course of action, probably going for the course of action where you've got the great skill checks is the way to go, right? But if it's all sort of equal, right, well then, regardless of the plan, you're just mechanically, it's just skill check after skill check. So come up with some cool shit. Tell a cool fucking story.
Well, I mean, I'm good at fighting. So, I'm okay with fighting our way out.
I'm very good at shooting. There's a lot of guns here, a lot of bullets around.
Well, remember, right? You're good at shooting. You can only do
You only
that
make
for
one check.
you
with
can only
shooting.
make one check, right? Because we're just going to hand wave that if you're shooting for 4 hours, you're going to be out of ammo at the end of it.
Hey, I'm good at other things.
Cool. No, yeah, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page before we get started. Look, I
And
think
just to make sure I'm clear, we can each make, if we would want to. Obviously, somebody
Yep.
like Frindle's not going to want to make a shooting check.
right.
But like, I do have a gun. I'm not great at it, but I do have a gun.
Yep. I mean, here's my understanding of the way this would work, right? Thomas can make fighting checks each of the 3 turns because he's just punching things, right? I mean, he as far as I know, he doesn't even have to reload those arms. He can just punch away, right? Franklin can make a fighting check one of the 3 rounds. Joan can make
You mean a shooting check?
yeah, sorry, that's correct.
Okay.
Franklin can make a shooting check one of those 3 rounds. Joan can make I think your spellcasting stat is a spirit check. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's faith.
Faith. Okay, great.
But yeah, I mean, my goal is, well, I guess, yes, faith and fighting were my
Right.
key tool.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You can make a faith roll, right, on 1 round. That'll count as all your power points. And actually, I think Abigail, you're in the same boat, right? You
Yep.
can make a faith roll that counts as all your power points. On another round, you can make a shooting roll, and that counts as all your ammo, right? And so Cornelius, right? You don't have any power points, right? So that's a problem, right?
Yeah, I'm a guy.
Right. Friendly.
I got these scissors you can use.
Right.
What the
Well,
hell?
Yeah, that's not nothing. Friendly, you will also have to be creative in this process, right?
I do have a watch, so we can at least keep an eye on the actual time. And I know that sounds useless, but it's fucking not.
Yeah,
It's
for
okay.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to as a group vote for fighting or barricading? It seems like these are the 2 choices we're kind of gravitating towards. Or do we feel very strongly as a group one way versus the other?
I think we should vote and give the space for another option if someone has another thought.
Okay, then why don't we do this? Why don't in the chat everybody write fight or barricade, or if they have
Or
another right, if they have another option that they want to put forth, that way we can get it like a just a what is the group thinking? What is the majority vote?
I have no strong feelings in any particular direction.
Well, that's handy because you're going to be the tiebreaker.
but there are 6 of us, so if I vote, there we go.
True.
Now there's no
There we go.
tie.
Oh no,
No,
no, that I
Cornelius
was
voted twice.
no,
We
no,
haven't
no,
Oh.
that was editing a message. Thank you, thank you.
Here, I'll solve that problem.
Excuse me.
I wasn't trying to vote twice. That'd be rude.
Right. And it looks like the one that we're missing right now is Franklin.
Yeah, fight.
Yeah, but Franklin, I assume your vote is for fight?
I th- and now
You don't
is,
have
but
to
earlier it
justify
was barricade. Logan,
your way.
earlier it was barricade.
You,
But
uh,
I feel like we can do it. I feel like we can do it.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
in us.
Just
Dude,
follow
I'm with
your
you, man.
follow your heart.
Yeah,
Whatever
follow your
you
heart.
want to do, put it in there.
okay. Franklin wants to fight.
What was
Abigail?
Cody? I'm sorry.
Right. Well, here's where we stand right now. We've got 3 fight and we've got 2 for barricade.
That's the vote.
Okay. Then y'all are fighting your way out. If everyone would please put your well, let me start the combat. That would probably help. If all of you would now put yourselves into initiative, draw yourselves some cards.
I
Clubs,
fucking
clubs.
god damn.
I mean, it's a 1 in 4 chance, and there's 6 of
Yeah.
us. So
It's just it's in the first hand.
I mean, there is a complication. You don't have PowerPoint. Yeah. I'm trying to make
Me?
it feel better. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I wasn't joking. Right now, I'm a dude. I'm dead. I have no armor. I have no weapons. I have maybe a deal with the devil. I'm a dude.
But you're not.
Oh.
You're a wild card.
You're a
Um,
wild card, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
cool dude,
like,
bro.
Categorically, we are not just regular people. We are wild
Right.
cards, and that
Yeah,
does
yeah,
make a difference.
makes a
It
big
does.
difference.
You can actually succeed on unskilled checks.
Yeah. If you were considering doing like some kind of fight, the scissors I have are the Taylor scissors. They do your strength as far as damage, right? They do your strength plus 2d4, which I think is just all d4s for you, right? So that has like big popping chances. The only downside is it's likely an unskilled check for you.
Right, well, and
I have to
I think
again-
it's just a skill
next to
check.
them.
It's not an attack. It's just a skill
Right.
check.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because we're not rolling damage. Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Ooh, wait.
Okay. Thomas, the first phase of this fight is fighting your way to the passageway as these skeletons and zombies and various bodies in different states of decomposition are pushing their way over and through each other and grabbing at you. Please describe what Thomas is doing during this phase of the fight. What's it look like? What's Thomas feeling?
Yeah, I think right, the decision we all look around, we steal ourselves, but there's trepidation still. I think it's like seeing everybody kind of like breathe and like Franklin's like loading the bullets, spinning the barrel, right? Everyone's getting ready. And then it's like making sure I see that they're all prepared, and then it's like bursting open the door and like charging into the first line and just like shoulder forward, like barreling into a few of these people, grabbing some and like just smashing heads into the walls, trying, like, I'm now like in the group, like trying to shove and break as much as I can through the front grouping of these zombies and skelly boys. Though as I'm going, and they're like grabbing pieces of me, everyone does see that like there is significant damage already to Thomas's chassis as he rushes forward into this.
You get to ignore some of the pain.
I get to ignore some of the pain.
The pain, not the wound.
Yeah, I get to ignore some of it. Okay, so I'm
Yeah,
definitely
that-
doing fighting here.
Yeah,
as I'm
that
coming
certainly
down.
sounds like a fighting check to me. So
Yeah.
go ahead and roll that.
And this should already give my wound penalty.
Great.
And it does.
How you feel about that?
No, I mean 6 isn't great. I don't know what like the target value is in this
Well,
scenario.
Right. I mean, it's still 4, right? So that is a success. Right.
Yeah, okay. So if I wanted to try to get like a raise off of it,
Right.
yeah. I think I have a fair chance of hitting a higher number
Question.
than that.
How many wounds
Yes.
do you have?
I have 2 wounds, ignoring 1 naturally. So I have 1 wound
Okay,
I'm dealing with.
because you and Abby both have 1 hour of relief on you to ignore essentially two more.
Will that apply, Marshall, considering we're saying this
Probably
first
just
thing
this
is
one.
over the course of longer than an hour?
You know what? We'll let it occur. We'll let it count for this round, and then
Okay,
after
then-
this round, all of that will be pushed
That
aside.
sounds
Right.
very, very
And-
fair.
And so, actually, let's do this, right? Oh well, you still wouldn't have gotten a raise because it's just
Yeah. I would need to
Okay.
hit 8
Great.
on it for an actual raise.
Yep.
But we have 3 bennies. This is a significant thing we're doing. I'll go a benny for a reroll.
Yeah.
It is better by it's much
Oh
better.
yeah.
The gravy.
Yeah. So
Hell
that's
yeah.
going to be right. That's going to be 2. Fantastic.
Okay,
So
hell yeah.
to start this off, you see a battered Thomas open this door and just push his way through, smashing skulls against each other, against walls, fists going through these creatures, as you can see some of them pulling at loose bits of metal that are just barely hanging on to Thomas's torso. Spectacular. Joan, what would you like to do on your turn where I see there is a complication? So this will be at a -2.
Yes, I'm gonna try to do something anyways. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah,
I-
do it.
I'm gonna grab a piece of chalk and very quickly draw a like symbol of a gravestone with a cross on the top of it, and then I'm gonna grab a vial of blood and shatter it into it, and bringing the spirit of Baron Samedi into me, which the effect of that has it causes the undead to get stunned whenever they're near me. So she's gonna get out there and just with her ghost steel knife start kind of like following in Thomas's wake and just kind of spinning and weaving and stabbing, and each stab just kind of like takes the zombie out immediately. Just very much just channeling this very cool, collected demeanor and just
Okay.
severing these zombies' ties with the hunting grounds.
Okay. Just so we're clear, right?
Uh-huh.
You do have 3 bennies, so you can re-roll this
Yes.
3 times.
Unless.
Right. Unless it's a critical failure, right? A failure or a critical failure at this point ends the
Very bad.
challenge. Yeah, real bad. Okay, go for it. Let's see it.
Okay.
Joan, is counting on that faith, right, to make significant changes. But that's it
I
looks
will
like
use a
that's not
Benny.
with a -2.
That's
Yeah, go
not
for
with
it.
a -2.
Yeah.
I'll just put that -2 on there for that.
All right. Great.
That's also not going to do it. Oh, wait. No, that does have the -2 in it. So it's. Did it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to remove that then and just do the other thing.
Hmm.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh. I ain't gonna
Now,
lie. I got up and
Yeah,
got
yeah,
into
me
court.
too.
Yeah.
I'm really. Oh my god.
now we're talking.
I love the balls to the wall feel of this. So
Yeah, fucking crazy.
That still didn't take the -2, so that is still just 1 point. But
Yeah, right, but it's still a success, right? And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
yeah,
It cost you everything but a success.
right.
It cost me everything. Yeah.
worth it.
So,
Worth it.
Worth it.
The complication, whenever she shattered the glass, it shoved into her hand, and she was like hemorrhaging blood the entire time.
well, yeah, I mean, I think, these undead, like even with the burst from Thomas clearing away and clearing, some semblance of a path, there's just so many that they're spilling around Thomas. And as you are bursting this vial to try and call on the spirits to help you, Joan, so many of these creatures are just pawing and clawing at you that, it takes several times for you to steel yourself and push these things off before you're finally able to complete the ritual. And when you complete the ritual, explain what it looks like as some of these creatures are pushed back as a result of the spirit that now is riding with you.
Baron Samedi is described as appearing as a tall, gaunt figure with like a top hat and skull. So that just kind of flashes across Joan's face, and there's just a burst of kind of like black, silverish energy. And, yeah.
Amazing. I am not ashamed to admit I was frightened.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, okay, excellent. I'm glad it wasn't just me. Abigail, you've seen Thomas push through. You've seen Abigail call the
Joan.
spirit, or
Yeah, I
I'm
am
sorry,
Abigail.
Joan. Yeah, you've seen Joan call the spirit to help her. What are you doing in your effort to get to the passageway?
Sort of look at everyone else, shrug, pull out my shotgun. I'm just shooting my way out.
Yeah,
I
that sounds
will-
like
my
shooting, all
initial
right.
thought was to try to turn this machine next to me that was spitting out all sorts of weird cold and all sorts of other weirdness, was to try to turn it into a bomb, but my friends are in it now, and so I can't do that without risking them. And I
Well,
don't
mean,
want to.
to be clear, right?
No, I
Since-
realize that I would not actually hurt them. That is probably a thing I could do, but just narratively, like,
Okay,
my
gotcha.
friends are in it. We
Gotcha.
got to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
out. Can't bring
Yeah.
down the ceiling on us.
Yeah.
So there's a brief moment where Abigail considers the thing next to her. There's a little hand explosion movement. She looks around, looks at everybody else, just shrugs. And then I will get to shooting.
Yeah.
Not
see
that
it.
my shooting is a good roll, y'all. I can also delete my drug-addled stabbing because I don't have enough drugs to last my way out. All right, that's a failure. I will spend a bit. Why am I at -1? Fucking because I'm wounded. I probably should have spent
Although,
time healing
right.
first, huh?
Right. Although,
Nope.
Oh God.
right,
You'd be ignoring it for this first
you'd
one.
be ignoring it for this round.
Okay, well, I mean, those are both failures still anyway.
Okay.
Let's see how
But these
many
are not
times.
complication failures.
Yep,
Right,
there we
there you
go.
go.
I'll take it.
Fantastic.
I will
Yeah.
stop there. Because
Oh.
basic competence
Dear God.
is difficult.
It's getting scary out here for some reason, Chad.
Yeah,
Wow, it's
so
almost like running into the horde of zombies. It's wicked dangerous.
To be
Yeah.
fair, we would be getting these rolls even if we were barricading, and it would be even
Maybe.
more embarrassing describing how we're dropping shit on our own toes.
Fuck, I got this splinter.
Abigail
I
is
have to take a shit. I'm sorry.
right. Well,
Now-
go out into the pool and do your business.
Go into the lab first where we don't have to.
Thomas,
Been
Um,
through.
fucking rotate it. Thomas,
Just
rotate
use a
it, bro.
coffin. This coffin's the toilet. Okay.
So
Thomas,
everyone, it is echoing off the walls. The sound of is this a pump action shotgun, a double barrel shotgun? What are we working with here?
This is a lever action shotgun.
Oh, even cooler, right?
We
I
got
imagine
that Terminator 2 spinning in the hands. Except based on my rolls, I'm not nearly as good at it as Arnold Schwarzenegger is.
Amazing.
There's some drop
I
shells.
try to be
Right.
cool. I try. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not, the greatest, and as you all know, not Abigail's go-to, right? But under the circumstances, it is certainly productive and able to make great progress towards the passage up and out. Franklin.
oh my god. Continue off of Thomas, and I watch him dive deep into the horde, and Abigail and Joan do the things that they feel is necessary, shooting out, casting spells, with a light cigarette. Inhale. I needed some stress relief. Push it out and start. I'm going to try to provide. I'm going to be shooting, but I'm going to be providing cover for Thomas as I recite Book of Philemon to myself.
Very cool. So yeah, make that shooting roll for us. Let's take a look at that.
Okay. This is the one time, bro.
Oof.
Excellent. We sticking with it?
I have to fight next time. I'm gonna do one more. Do one, and then
Okay.
we're done. That's perfect.
Hell yeah.
There you go. Hell yeah. Well done. Franklin takes a deep drag on his cigarette. The cherry at the end glows red hot, illuminating his face a little bit. 2 streams of smoke, one blow out from each nostril. See, pulls the cigarette from his lips, flicks it against the wall. It also occurs to me, can people tell I'm an ex-smoker the way I'm romanticizing this goddamn this
You're
cigarette smoker?
talking about a
You're
lot.
making it sound really cool, Like,
Don't worry, bro.
cool.
I also do the same shit. That right there.
Right, holy shit. Picks up his gun and just starts blasting away, using Thomas for a little bit of cover. Yet even that move is still appreciated because of the way Franklin is able to thin out the horde that is coming towards them. Very cool. Friendly.
So, okay, there's how does support work here again?
Support, right,
Mhm.
is you
Support and cast are my other option.
Mhm. Right. Support is you explain how you're going to support someone, right? A success grants +1, right? A raise grants +2 on their roll, right? You do have to describe how you are going to support someone, and then we'll decide on what sort of skill check that is.
And it would probably have to be on somebody after me.
It would have to be on
Because
somebody after you. And what I mean, I think under the circumstance, right? And either way, it's sort of blind luck, right? But I would allow those of you that fall at the bottom of a turn order, if you decide you want to support someone, to either pick a specific individual, right? Or pick a specific slot, right, in turn order. So if you're saying, oh, I want to support whoever goes first next round, that's fine, right? And if it ends up being you, it'll just roll down to the next person.
Okay. For this one, I think I would like to using my friendliness throw support at let's see. I think I'm focusing on Joan and calling out like when things are behind Joan. Like I've just got my hand up like behind you. Nope. Duck. And I'm just calling out encouragement to Joan because
Okay.
everybody else has like the sort of like, well, Abby's doing fine for now. Franklin and Thomas are in their element. Joan is running around ripping people apart, which feels new to Joan, at least as far as
Okay.
Friendly can tell.
This is great. I do want to add, right, that you also have PowerPoint. So you can
I do.
essentially use your spell casting feature if you want to cast some sort of spell that will last for the next round, right? We can say that you're continually casting that. It will cost all of your PowerPoints just like it would for anyone using their PowerPoints for something offensively. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that would still be a roll for next time. Whereas, like, I think I want to try to hold my PowerPoints till we get to the
Gotcha.
next.
Understood.
Yeah.
Great. So you are going to. How are you supporting Joan here?
My every so often I throw out a persuasion to just yell out encouragement.
Okay. So you are sticking close to Joan.
I've got my shield
trying
up.
Right. Keep her spirits up. Keep the incoming hordes off of her. Yeah. And just continue to encourage her. That sounds like a persuasion roll to me. Let's see it.
Convince her to be a little less reckless.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's
How are you
basically-
feeling about that?
I am feeling great about it. Currently, I think I should start by saying Friendly like trundles on his winter coat underneath his duster. Puts his shield up and just goes running in, like shouting towards Joan. I'm just ducked down, like turtled up, shouting encouragement to Joan as Joan is just racing from like one thing to another, ripping their heads off.
Excellent.
Yeah, 6 is good. I'll let you have the +1.
Great. Joan, remember that? I've put a plus on you to try and help us remember that. Friendly, shouting encouragement, keeping Joan's spirits up, which could probably use a little bit given the initial difficulty in calling this spirit to assist her. Cornelius, what is your plan?
What are your thoughts about me spending this round in my book preparing for the next round, preparing for a deal with the devil in the next round?
A reminder: Cornelius is also under a sign of a club.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should be like a pass or
Passing your turn, basically.
Yeah. Thoughts about or if there is any means you think, Adam, of providing
Mhm.
myself like preparedness, not advantage exactly, but an advantage by taking the time to try to keep thoughts together while all hell is breaking loose in another room.
Yeah, if you and this will go for everybody, right? But I think if you want to say, "Hey, I am going to support my future. I'm going to attempt to support my future self by
Mhm.
studying, stealing myself. In your case, maybe going through some of the finer points of Hoyle's book of
Mhm.
cards and card games. I would." I would allow that. In this case, what is it that you're going to be doing to support yourself, though?
Um, I feel like he is taking a minute to refer back to the book for some of the for the actual tricks for dealing with the tricksters. The smaller tidbits that are about
Mhm.
how you can change the way you are speaking to affect the tone of the conversation, and just try to get himself grounded because of how rocky he was the last few times
And
he's tried this.
and the plan is to um, accomplish this in a way that makes it more likely that you're successful dealing with the devil. Is that
Yes. Yeah.
okay? On the
Yeah.
next turn, got it.
Uh-huh.
Let's call that a gambling skill because you're trying to enhance your gambling ability. So let's call that a
Yeah.
gambling skill.
I agree with that. Love that. I also would have, if you had a
Mhm.
thought, occult was another one that I was happy with, but I think these are actually, this is my better roll. So, and it's a -2 for being with clubs, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I think I added the -2. Hey.
Okay,
Oh,
that is a +1 for you on your next turn.
Okay.
You are um I think Cornelius is probably um sort of sandwiched between uh Thomas and Franklin at the front trying to clear some space and really create a corridor within this undead mob. Um, Behind her are Joan and Friendly, who have cleared some space with the spirit that Joan has invited, implored even to assist. Um, at the rear is Abigail with the lever action shotgun that Cornelius, you're probably flinching every now and then as you're trying to focus and trying to read your book, looking for any possible edge that you can get when on the next turn you attempt to gain some PowerPoints for yourself.
And as a little bit of text for it, he's like, the book is like inches from his face. He actually has reading glasses that he's like holding with his other
Mhm.
hand, and he's quite literally murmuring the words out loud. But the words are not in English. They are in other folk languages where these traditions run deeper. And he also doesn't know the words he is saying. He is just trying his hardest to pronounce them correctly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Excellent. Um, and with that, you all push your way. I regret that I don't have a map of the corridor, but you all push your way up to the stairs and will begin the ascent up towards the graveyard. Here's hoping for good cards for everybody. Here we go.
nothing but clubs everywhere.
There is some
Oh,
clubs.
Fuck yeah.
Just one.
Let's go.
It's just one this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
This is one club.
Don't worry, it's just the one who could die instantly.
Nah.
Friendly.
Remember, y'all, I'm supposed to critical failure. It's better for
Oh.
me.
Yeah.
It's just a shame it's going to happen when I've got a clubs.
So where are we at now?
Let me paint the
you-
picture. Through everyone's efforts in round one, you have pushed your way through this underground facility and now find yourselves at the base of the stairs. There are undead behind you and undead filling the corridor in front of you. It looks and feels a bit like a fool's errand to push through this clearly hostile set of zombies and skeletons and putrefied corpses, but you know that's the only way out, and there's nothing behind you except more undead and
Okay.
a certain death, for there is no other way out. Friendly, what is your plan?
I take a step back so that I am closer to the middle of the group. I start to hum deep in my chest, raise my glove, and the bubble of light that is my holy symbol immediately like covers the surrounding area, wraps itself around everyone. Friendly is essentially like almost eyes closed, like looks like he's in a place of complete serenity, as then he just starts to casually walk forward.
Amazing.
I'm not gonna get to them, but I'm like casually walking forward as everybody else does what they do.
Great. And
So let's
just so
not crit fail this.
right, just so I'm clear, right? It sounds like this is your spell casting
Yep.
turn. You're blowing all your power points, and thematically or narratively, you are calling the Holy Spirit from your glove to create a bubble and make it more difficult for these things to even approach anyone in the party.
Yeah, it's holy
Love it.
symbol, right? So
Yep.
it's just makes it so that it's harder for them to hit us as
Yeah.
we move. Try to,
Amazing.
especially since we've reached a knot of them.
Amazing. Let's see it. Well,
Ooh, like get a free reroll.
okay. Well, you don't get a free reroll, right? Because technically you're not casting the spell. This is a skill check.
Got
Right?
it. Okay.
You're using your
I'll
spell
roll
casting
again
zone.
then because I would have
Well,
used a penny.
Okay, well, if you would have used a Benny, right, then I mean, it's still the same skill, correct?
Yes, it is.
Right, so that would
Yeah,
still
I'm
be
not
the
casting
8.
power.
Right. So that's 2 more. Yeah, I mean, it's I imagine, right? It's probably a pretty cool compliment to what Joan has just done that practically speaking has a somewhat similar had a somewhat similar effect as you journeyed through this layer, and as hers is wearing off, you step forward and call on the Holy Spirit that you speak with, or in your case, speaks through you, and your glove begins to glow, and you can see, or perhaps a better way to describe it is sense the hesitance in the undead that stand before you. Very cool.
Quick future thing, because it's actually I looked up what the wording of true believer is, and in this case it's fine, but in the future, like I'll ask for a ruling because weirdly it doesn't even stipulate power. It just said I get a free reroll on faith rolls. I have only done faith rolls for power, but in theory, if I did
Right.
faith rolls for something else,
I hear you, right? I think in this
Yeah.
case, we'll stick with the ruling because this is
Fine.
applying to a 4-hour chunk of time,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, but still, that's 2 additional success tokens. Fantastic. Abigail, what do you have on tap as your brother's glove begins to glow?
It's a good thing Frendel's eyes are closed because he cannot see the look of disdain that will pass across her face very, very briefly. I am also using my spell casting roll.
Mhm.
I'm not actually. These are undead creatures. These are skeletons and zombies. They lack any of the features that would make my usual goo work really well. They don't have nerves. They don't really feel pain. They're dead. So instead of spending her time shooting things, she is basically using her concoctions to boost her friends, to
Mhm.
make people stronger, make them shrug off their pains, heal any incidental wounds that they're taking, things like that.
Amazing.
This is buff Abby instead of damage Abby. And everybody, just think of it this way. Oh wait, this is the clubs. Fuck
This
it.
is the
Fuck it.
clubs.
Fuck it. YOLO.
Mhm.
Just if we all die, we will die
Oh.
on drugs.
Oh,
Get
We
some.
die on drugs. We die on
Yeah.
drugs.
I'm gonna be so honest. I saw the one and I nearly cried.
hell yeah.
That is
Um,
only a 7, however, because it does not take into account the -2 for having a clubs.
Okay. So that
So it
is
is only 1 success.
right. It's only one success, but what a success it is. Having pushed through this layer, despite the success that the party has had so far, everyone, with the exception of Thomas, is breathing a little heavy and, slumped or shrugged a little bit. Thomas has bits of himself that are hanging off or holding on by a bolt. But with your concoctions, Abigail, as you all make your way down the corridor, you are able to help your friends and fellow party members steady and steel themselves against the never-ending onslaught.
There are definitely times where she is like reaching for the test tubes that it would normally be in various pockets and coming up empty
Mhm.
and filling test tubes from the little contraption on her wrist.
Amazing. Super cool.
Where are those drugs coming from?
Shh. They're
You
good
do
drugs.
not want to know.
The answer is
Man, I need to get me one of those.
It is with that envy in her eye and in her mind that Joan is up. And you do have a +1 on this particular roll. I believe you have spent your PowerPoints at this point.
So even without the rule of
Mhm.
spending them, I spent them. I had very few left, and the thing I did was expensive. I think I'm going to, given this support and this moment to breathe, and feeling that the spirit that guided her through that first section is not sticking around for the next portion. She pulls her pistol out and flips it open, makes sure it's got 6 shots in it, spins it and slams it shut, and just starts shooting.
Yeah, let's see that shooting roll.
That's that. No bennies in
Yeah,
this pocket.
fantastic. Fantastic. Joan continues to be effective with her firearm as bolstered by Abigail's chemical enhancements and perhaps bolstered by a little envy of the device that creates them. She is adamant that she will get out and find a way to acquire a similar device. Cornelius.
Okay. So I'm going to deal with the devil.
Great. Now, in this case, right, we don't need to actually deal with the devil,
Okay.
right? what we need to do here, again, this is just going to be a skill check. We are going to count this as a as your spellcasting check, whatever that is. And you've got a +1 because you supported yourself in the previous round, and we'll say that a success is a successful deal with the devil, so that you will have power points to spend on your next round.
Okay.
And
While
because this is just a skill check, it will count as an opportunity to gain a no, I don't think it will. I don't think you'll be able to earn a success task on this, because if you were to do that, I'd be allowing you to use your spellcasting token twice. Right? And so the advantage you get is that you do get to use your spellcasting token twice, but by doing so, you're only going to have... I'm sorry, can you hear me?
I
Okay.
can only hear the parts that aren't important.
Okay, let me
Okay,
try this
again.
Right, let me try this again. What you do get here is the ability to roll your spellcasting skill check twice.
Cool.
Right? The result or the downside to it is that it's only on the next turn. If you are successful here, it is only on the next turn that you'll actually be able to gain success tokens.
Yes. Awesome. Love that.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, as it appears to your party members, there's not much difference with Cornelius. Those that are particularly observant may notice a particular blankness in the stare for a moment. But to Cornelius, you hear that familiar voice say, excellent time to ante up, Mr. Cox. And let's see that spellcasting check.
Between the words that I am speaking, the thing that I say to him still trickles out, which is take whatever, but do not let him die today. And I'll roll my spell casting for this round. Ah!
Hell yeah. You know what? I think with a raise, we'll count that as one success token.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. As the cards come down, your Manitou looks at them and says, congratulations. Aces over eights. Let's hope that's not fortuitous.
And my first conscious breath of air back in this dank place is just every string of Spanish curses that he knows in his own brain.
Excellent. And with that, the party is safe from being completely overrun by the undead and everyone having to roll on the incapacitation table. You have, well, actually, that's not quite correct yet. You need one more token to do it. But I'm sure that Thomas will get that for everyone right now. And I'm also sure I didn't just jinx Thomas. What's the plan, Thomas?
Okay, thanks.
No pressure.
Yeah, no
He runs
pressure.
off.
Yeah, no pressure. I think
DM
just
did
leaves.
totally put you in a spot right there.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Well, the
Fuck
good
off,
news is,
man.
right, you're not on, you don't have a club, so like things can't really go that far wrong, he said, to jinx things even further.
Mm.
Yeah,
Hey, bro, I'm
it'll be
right
fine.
behind you, bro. You got this.
Right.
Yeah,
You
it'll be
got this.
fine.
Walking away from you.
I think with right, like Jones, like slowing of the undead effect, and the friendlies, you know, kind of like Bastion kind of like driving them away, making it difficult for them to get to us. I think in that moment of respite, I will unhook my bullet belt and just toss that to Franklin so he has ammunition. And then give a charge up the steps, and then like pushing the crowd of skeletons that are like coming in to like hurl them up and out, so that like whatever moonlight is there is like actually coming down and giving an opening for people to rush forward. So I would like to do fighting again.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. And I am wounded here for real. It's not great. I will spend the Benny. That's why we have them.
There you go.
It is.
There it goes.
It is better.
There you go.
There it goes.
There we go. Now we're
Hey.
talking.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. Just a huge pile of them,
Right.
just
Yeah.
launched into the air.
You just open arm, like dive forward.
Yeah.
Okay, the D12 boys got to calm down because now I got to give it 19.
Well, and I think particularly given the initial roll, I imagine what this looks like as you are approaching the ladder up, and you can feel some of that cool, fresh night air finally, coming down this ladder. Thomas is attempting to clear some rungs so people can start climbing. And at first, it looks as if he is being enveloped and swallowed whole by this mass of undead, until almost as if an explosion is set off, bones and bits of rotting flesh explode outward as Thomas, just a wheel of fists and knees and elbows, clears even more space so that your ascent to the graveyard can begin. Franklin, what is the plan? Thanks to Thomas's quick thinking, you have ammo for another round of shooting should you choose to do it.
Adam, did you
Oh.
redraw for initiative?
I haven't went
This
yet.
is still the second
Yeah,
round.
we haven't gone.
Yeah, this is still round two.
I see the. Sorry, I thought the line was somewhere else.
No worries.
My bad.
Yeah,
Yep.
no worries.
I feel like he threw it just in time, so I was about to get ready to go like gun butt one of the the skeletons coming towards me. I catch it. And you see him unload his revolver, drop all the bullets, try to get as many in as he can, and go right back at it. He definitely is just lost in himself right now.
Yeah,
That's
amazing. Let's see that shooting check.
it.
Audible gulp.
I want a 19 too, guys. Come on. 10 is close enough. Only
That's
9
good. That's good.
Fantastic. Of those bodies that are able to hang on through Thomas's onslaught and make their way through the protection of the Holy Spirit, which Friendly has called down, Franklin is able to pick those remaining off with his 6-shooter as the 6 of you make your way up into the graveyard.
As the 6 of us, 5 of us on the map.
5 of us on the
Good.
Who
Oh,
are we
awesome.
missing? Rip Cornelius. Nope, there's Cornelius. Who are we missing?
Yeah.
Friendly.
Friend-
Rip
Friendly.
Friendle.
Yeah.
No, my
brother.
brother.
There
He
we
should have
go.
opened his eyes.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, at this
And-
point, I'm just
Coffee.
walking forward, eyes closed.
Whoops. I see exactly what I did. I shouldn't have changed. Maps
You can just
are-
make a new encounter on the other map, but we'd have
Yeah.
we're just drawing
Right, yeah,
new cards.
Yeah.
I think I was the last one to go because I had 2.
Yeah, it's the end of the round, so
All right. Yeah.
we're
Just
fresh
everybody
drawing.
add yourself to initiative. Very nice,
Hey.
Abigail. Yeah.
Friendly.
Love to see it.
Oh, there you go. I think I.
Holy shit.
Hey, Franklin.
Yeah,
Love
yo.
to see it.
Hey, made that
Holy
first
shit.
round.
Be good.
In our
My
darkest
time.
hour.
Good time for all that.
All right.
Oh, and because I clicked the button earlier, it took one of my bennies at him. I'm just gonna give myself my 1 back.
No worries.
Oh yeah, I haven't been taking.
No,
Oh,
I
did we
think I
get 2
think
back to
it
back?
was. I think yeah, you did get 2 back to
Oh, yeah.
back, but
I was like, damn,
think
how do I still have 3?
Yeah.
I think
You
you
got one
did
and I got one.
right. I think you did use. Didn't you use 1 max?
My memory's not really good right now. I
Yeah,
maybe
no-
did.
no
I don't
worries.
recall.
No worries.
If I
Let's-
can, I'm good taking 1 down. I just thought I had clicked 1
Yeah.
already. So
Yeah, no worries.
good.
No worries. All right. As you all climb out of Stacy Smith's grave, you see the throngs of the undead that were just sort of milling about all turn their attention towards you. Abigail, what is the plan?
I have a joker. I'm going to choose to go later.
Great. Franklin, what is the plan?
It's I'm as we get out, I'm gonna take a deep breath of the air because I'm finally out outside. Realize I gotta stop smoking because I'm tired as hell.
Mhm.
But I've always been a notorious headhunter and I wanted to be a fighter, but I realized I had to work out for that. And so I'm gonna do like the little arm pumps that we constantly talk about.
Mhm.
And
Reload the arms.
I am gonna try to knock all of their blocks off, basically.
Nice. Love it. Let's see that fighting roll.
Okay. 6.
Good lord.
Okay.
It's so
What the
funny. There you are, man.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I imagine that upon emerging into the cool pre-dawn air, Franklin initially starts like just pistol whipping these things as they get near him, right? And as his hands get sweatier and sweatier, he holsters the gun and just cocks those arms and starts going to town. Amazing. That is 2 more successes. Joan, what do you have on tap?
I think Joan is looking for a way out of here, looking for
Mhm.
a path to go, trying to find where's the exit and how do we all get there quickly?
Great. Yeah. Trying to find the safest path out. Let's call that a survival check.
Ooh, I don't have that.
Is there
I was looking for notice. I was trying to look around and find a path, but
Okay, well let's if you want to use notice, let's alter the narrative a little bit and
mhm.
just say, as opposed to trying to find a specific path or the shortest path out of here, you are spending this time clocking the various um gangs and groups of these undead and how the herds sort of move back and forth so that you are able to help your friends plot a way through them that offers the least resistance.
Mhm.
How does that sound? Great.
That sounds great.
Let's see a notice check then.
I'm gonna use one of my free bennies just cause.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that's it.
Okay. You are doing your best to help guide the crew through. Um, I will say this, right? Given the number of bennies you have, right? Are you sure you don't want to use another benny and try and get that success token?
Did I not get a success with the 5?
Well, you got it on the first roll, but this is whatever the last roll is what we're going
Oh,
with. This
okay.
isn't yeah,
Gotcha.
just because of
I
the
did not.
nature of the way this is working.
Okay, then
Right.
yeah, I will use my
Yeah.
last benny. I was trying to like play it safe
Yeah, I
in
hear you,
front of
but
you know.
I just think it would be a little too easy if everything
Yeah,
was
well, still.
yeah. Okay, no worries. Yeah, you're trying your best to um help plot a path through, but there are just too many of these things and they're shifting too quickly, and it is unclear to you whether or not you have found that uh safe path. Cornelius.
Okay, time for my power. And did you say I got a full house just in passing?
No, ace is over 8, so 2 pair.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
Dead man's hand.
yeah, I gave you the dead man's hand.
okay,
'Cause
great. Okay, perfect.
yeah, 'cause why
All right.
not?
Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly what you said,
I
so I
think you
was
said
trying to.
royal flush. Is what I heard.
Yeah.
Well,
So weird.
I heard a different combination of
Right.
aces, and
Well,
so I was
right.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Um,
here's the good news, right? Since we're not counting the actual PowerPoints, you can cast whatever
mhm.
the fuck you want to cast. Like it's just narrative, right? So whatever
Yeah.
the fuck you want to cast, you can do it.
Well, see, I wanted to cast protection on all of us, and that's
Mhm.
technically quite expensive.
Doesn't matter, right?
Okay, all
It's
right.
just right. This is just narrative, so go for it.
You're cool as hell right now, bro. Go crazy.
Yeah.
Get some
Okay.
dude my fucking ass.
So he, as he's murmuring these, just honestly, the worst way you could hear this, these other languages and incants, this literal wizard, sort of has. These talismans that he's been bearing within his fingers. His glasses are kind of like fallen, and the darkness of the small shadows that hide within the grasses draw to all of us and begin climbing over us. There's no weight to them, but there is a haze as they sort of like spread and thin like shadows do. You can see through them with clarity, but you feel this like mugginess sort of surrounding the entire surface of your body, and we'll all be a little bit more defended from these awful things as we get closer to them.
Amazing. Let's see that spellcasting roll.
Oh, spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I will use a Benny.
Okay, let's see it.
Oh, I should use the Benny button. That would be better. And I think I'll use another one because I can.
Okay.
Thank you for the extras, guys. Okay. I think that will have to do.
Great. Yeah, so as you have emerged and witnessed Franklin doing his best Thomas impression and Joan
Yeah,
helping.
that's happening as I'm coming out of the other
Yeah.
world. I
And
thought it was
Joan,
bad a second ago.
right, pointing the way through these things, you reflect on the deal that you just made with your Manitou and these shadows, this mist envelops the party. And as you said, it feels muggy. It feels almost humid in the pre-dawn air. But you know that will offer everyone some protection. I'm just checking in, Abigail.
Nope, I'm going last.
Great. Fantastic. Friendly. Go for it.
So I am gonna be passing, but I'm going to do something while I pass, which
Okay.
is like, narratively, I'm in the shit. I have no PowerPoints, right?
Mhm.
I've burnt out all of my reserves. So in this time, I am going like Friendly goes very still, like clasps his hands in front of him, like closes his eyes. I am going to use a Benny to regain PowerPoints. Which I could do, on any of the given rounds, but
Okay.
I'm not doing anything else other than standing and praying.
Gotcha.
Because Friendly realizes he is just a guy with a shield and a fucking glove if he does not have power.
Gotcha.
So he is just preparing for later.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what I was going to say. Friendly, looking around, seeing what's happening, taking stock of what resources he has available in this moment, recognizes that even if everyone escapes, the danger will not be over. And the best thing that Friendly can do for his friends in this moment is prepare for the future.
Yep.
Very
so
cool.
I'm just standing in place, arms clasped, humming as I pray to myself.
Very cool way to pass. In fact, such a cool way to pass. I am going to give you that Benny back. That was really fucking neat. Thomas, you are up.
I know this is like old. Actually, I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
Cool.
I know exactly what I'm gonna do. We're out in the open, so we're not in like tight corridors. I reach back, and then one hand holds the axe, the other hand grabs the shovel. I look at both of them, and I say, "Jennifer, Violet, it's time to go to work." And I just swing. I start ping, ping, start just chopping and banging these guys away.
They have names.
I've named my tools. Okay. Oh, wait, are you trying to tell me you have a gunfighter who hasn't named his pistols?
I don't know how to fix this shit, man.
I'll use a Benny because we just got some. It's that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Excellent. Thomas just comes out swinging, and I'm sorry, it was Jenny and Violet.
Let me go to my gear.
Look at their name there.
Jennifer and Violet. Yep.
Excellent.
It just gets better every time.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so good. And yeah, as has been stated, you hear the dull ping and thud as under Jones' direction, Thomas and Franklin continue to clear a path, kept safe in, or safer in large part because of Cornelius's efforts. And with that, we reach Abigail.
Abigail is trailing behind everybody. She is rolling something in her hands, which turns out to be a single shotgun shell. She did some shooting, and she definitely stopped shooting and ran out of ammo, but nobody was really keeping track of the shots. And she did not actually shoot all of her ammo. She has been leaving a trail of gunpowder all the way back to that machine that she really thought about blowing up early on. And I would like to make a science roll because I had to take this stupid skill anyway to be a mad scientist. I would like to blow this whole fucking place to pieces.
Yeah, fuck yes. Yes.
Fuck yes.
And so she will just, I don't know if Franklin still has a cigarette in his mouth. If so, she will take that just out of his mouth, take a puff, and just drop it into the last bit of gunpowder that she is emptying out of this last shotgun shell.
By Marshall Fiat for this moment. Yes, Franklin has a lit cigarette in his mouth so that you can pull it out and light this trail.
I was going to beg you to have it.
Okay, excellent. I'm glad we're all on the same page.
Yes.
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 Oh, bro.
Yes.
Okay. That is 2 successes, which, if you will notice,
That's
is
a full
exactly
success, baby.
what was needed to get to a full success. Abigail, would you care to explain this moment as you light?
I couldn't figure out where the extra +1 was coming from. It's because I have the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that whatever sort of weird science, whatever energy let that thing, because compression like that, that sort of refrigeration takes a massive amount of energy. And to be able to flash freeze enough to shoot an icicle at somebody to generate that sort of fog and rain in a cave like that, Abigail has no idea, only a vague idea of really what that energy source was, but nothing likes it when 5 or 6 shotgun shells have all been kind of strung around, and there is a brief moment where the gunpowder trail goes up like cartoon style, and it just traces back, and these things are pressing in on all of us, and the gunpowder trail is chasing back some more, and things are looking not great. And then just, I mean, we're all kind of hard of hearing right now anyway from all of the shots that have been going on. Man, we can't hear a damn thing anymore, as just bits of zombie, bits of skeleton, bits of our unfortunate hellhounds who got killed by either us or these undead things. Everything is just blown to bits. There is a massive crater behind us at this point in the ground where we just came from. And just a brief moment of looking at everybody, smirking, and then just starting to walk towards town like nothing's going on.
Amazing. I will add that as the ground explodes upwards and outwards, and then even more of it sort of collapses inwards, filling that void that was created by the explosion. It takes out the bulk of the remaining undead, but not all of them. And they, as you do, they pull themselves to their feet from the explosion, and initially turn towards you as if to continue the attack. But it is at this moment that the sun peaks up over the horizon for the first rays of sun peek up over the horizon for the very first time. And those few undead that remain turn on their heel and return to the graves which 12 hours ago they dug themselves out of, and begin their descent. And you can hear as their bony fingers claw at the dirt to cover themselves up once again. Spectacular. You have made it through the evening relatively unscathed. The final bits that need to be rolled and figured out are, first, we need vigor checks from everyone. You've been up way past the 24 hours, and the past 12 in particular have been really bad. So let's see some vigor rolls, right, to resist against a level of fatigue.
Yeah, that's where all my babies were going to. The fatigue right there.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, let's see it. Oh, God.
It's only a failure, and you know what? I'm just
Right.
gonna take it.
Yeah.
that
No,
was
absolutely.
so,
I'm
that
not
was
gonna
so
risk a
close.
crit failure.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking mad at you for how close that was.
Yeah,
Holy
it
shit.
was so fucking close.
I watched them roll. I saw one go one and
Yeah.
the other one hit the wall and bounced off. I'm like, no.
Right.
Please.
3 and a
Excellent.
2. You know what? 3 and a 2 is not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
Now, while you have escaped virtually unharmed, virtually unharmed is not the same thing as completely unharmed. Now, at a full success, it's only a D4 of damage, right? However, this damage can explode. So, in order to roll this, you can either use the dice at the bottom of the chat window, right? And just click on the D4 and then click on ace and then click on roll, and that'll do it. Or if you'd rather type it in, it's /R 1D4. And then to put the exploding or the acing in there, you follow it with an X and then the number that it'll explode on. So in the case of a D4, it would be 4. So actually, I'll type it into chat. It would
Can't
look
you
like
also just do
this.
exclamation point, or is that
I don't know. I've
a
always done
roll-point
it
thing?
right. I've always done it this way, right? But if you want to try it with an exclamation point, try it and let me know if that works.
Well, I don't know
Okay. Well,
because I rolled.
Well, gonna have to soak.
Well, here's the thing, right? Keep in mind, right? These damage rolls, right? In order to even get to shaken, right? They need to equal your toughness score.
Okay, so it's
Yeah, this is a damage roll, not a number of wounds.
Right.
got it. So
That's correct.
it does peak over my 5 toughness.
Okay. Right. So yeah, you can spend a penny to try and soak that. You can, if you can just be shaken, and since it's only getting you to shaken, you can just spend the penny to get rid of shaken.
Yeah, that's more.
Yeah.
I have a brief moment of like staggering and just
Right.
shaking. Just
You stood there
Alright.
at peace for a second and kind of got rocked.
yeah, it fucking caught up to me at once. Had to shake my shoulders a little.
Well, fantastic. You all stagger back to the Golden Furrow in the morning light. In desperate need of sleep. Some of you in need of healing and repair. But all of you alive and all of you free and clear from the flayed corpses and the undead masses and the tailor. And I think we will take our 15-minute break right here. get back into it, we use the magic I use the magic of the marshal to wave the mists around a little bit and get a glimpse back into the early moments of your fight and plight to make your way out of the Tailor's Lair. And we focus in on Joan as she was calling the spirit to her. Do you want to re-describe what that endeavor looked like or entailed, Maggie?
Yeah, I think so. Whenever I had described it, after the spirit was invited in, she pulled out her knife and went very like monk rogue fighting. I don't think that's reasonable or realistic for this middle-aged old woman. So I think that it kind of came out in more of a like as she was running, the spirit was like jutting out from her and doing the things for her. So not a big shift of anything, just less physical action that she was taking. No gymnastics and cat cartwheels or whatever.
So it sounds like less of the spirit simply inhabiting and driving Joan's body, and more of the spirit actually taking some of those actions as Joan was maneuvering through. Is that am I understanding that correctly? Cool.
Yeah, like jumping out and doing things and yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, yeah, very
It's
cool.
a stand.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. Spectacular. You all have made it out of the graveyard and back to Jefferson proper, where the Golden Furrow stands as the only building really still intact, and certainly the only building at all occupied. As you stumble in, the only individual in the building is the gentleman who was throwing darts and had not said a word, a Mr. Roberto Alomar. And as the door swings open, he just barely peeks over his shoulder as you all stumble in. And then there's a beat or two before Mr. Alomar does a double take. And holy shit. You guys look awful. What happened? Is there anything I can do?
Maybe clear some room. Just sort of drop our walking carcasses somewhere.
Yeah, he looks around to the completely empty bar room in the inn and snaps his fingers and says, "Done."
Wow.
Where's the other two?
Weren't you paying them to watch your stuff?
I should check on that.
Yeah, you head out to what's left of the stable box next to the inn, and there are Al Bumbry and Alexa Bergman sitting on top of the coach, chatting away.
Everything good here?
Oh, yeah, they're sort of surprised. Yeah, Alexa, everything's great. See, look, everything looks great, right? We did a good job, right?
Just came to grab something. Job's not over yet. I want to get Abigail's repair kit. Because I'm gonna need that, but they need to sleep. But as I do, I just want to do a quick glance to make sure everything looks on the up and up.
Yeah, make me a notice roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks like you can't immediately see anything missing, but it does look like both the packs on both of the mules have been fussed with.
I'll check them to see.
Simple enough. At this point, you've noticed it. You're investigating. Everything is there with the exception of the food rations, all of which are missing.
The human food, not the animal food?
Correct.
Hmm.
The only thing that was taken was the human food. They've taken all of the human food.
God, do I want to stick it to these people, or am I going to let it slide?
You could just not give them the other half of their paycheck,
Yeah, I mean, that is
which would be
honestly
like the thing.
Yeah. I think I don't say anything about it. I grab the repair kit.
That's fucked, dude. You don't eat.
Yeah, I don't eat. I get the repair kit and say, I'll have to keep an eye on my companions, but we'll come back for all this soon.
Oh, we'll keep watch just like we promised.
Good. I'll head back.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I turn to leave, and then I stop, turn back around, look at him, and say, found a passageway leading to some underground thing in the cemetery. Funny thing was there's a stream underground. There any streams around here?
Well, there's a creek out by what's left of the old church out by that big cemetery. It doesn't really that's as close as it gets to town though.
Where does it go?
Well, I think I don't know where it originates from, but I think it just heads down south.
All right. I'll back.
Cool. Well, y'all have the run of the place. Mr. Alomar is back to just throwing darts. And the six of you and Roberto are the only people in the building. I will say that given how little sleep everyone has had, that's going to need to happen soon, or we're going to have to start rolling additional vigor checks for fatigue levels.
I think we hop into some rooms as soon as we can, start dressing wounds and resting. I don't see why we wouldn't. We have to.
Yeah.
Anybody have any business they'd like to conduct before that happens?
Yeah. Thomas will tell him that there's a creek that runs by the church heads southwards. Like,
Mhm.
if that jacket was swimming, that's likely where it would end up.
Mm.
But where it's gone from there, I mean, that thing has got like a 12-hour lead on us. So
And as an eel, basically.
I'm not fishing that shit out.
I mean, do we know what river it gets to? Where it's headed? I mean, if it's just one of the other tributaries, and it might just be going same place all the other corpses are going. Mississippi for
um,
some reason.
we're farther. We're not near the other three, right?
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
they were all like the corner of New Mexico, like northeast.
Well,
Uh,
here. I mean, let me see if I can find it here. Don't need to have that. There we go. All right, and so you are sort of due west of the Canadian River Mill. Right, you're probably halfway between the Canadian River Mill and Santa Fe. And actually, as I'm saying this, let me just confirm. You all can see the map that has the 3 red dots on it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you're about halfway between the Canadian River Mill and Santa Fe, essentially at a point that is more or less equidistant, right, from all 4 locations, from Santa Fe, the Cimarron River Mill, the Canadian River Mill, and the Red River Mill. And the Red River Mill is the one you lit on fire.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know that it matters much. Wherever that thing is, it's long gone. If it's still alive, I don't rightly know exactly how they work. Maybe it takes someone over and has thoughts and memories of its own and can pass information along. It was bound to happen sooner or later, them finding out about us. Maybe next mill we go to might have more guards, but maybe not.
Well, that one wouldn't know about our trip to the mill anyway. We found that one in the crypt.
Right. Just saying, if it gets out and can communicate in some way, perhaps we won't be able to catch them by surprise like. That maybe they'll know we're here, but maybe not.
Well, they are intelligent. They take orders. And as soon as it gets onto whatever target it was told to get onto, it's going to do whatever it was told to do. So it's already done.
Does it smell like pickles in here?
Does not smell like pickles in here.
Okay.
Smells like dust.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Y'all should get some rest while you can. Doc, whenever you're able and you're feeling up to it, I got some parts missing.
Abigail will wave from wherever she is, face down on a bed.
Excellent. As a reminder, and as we discussed previously, you have your run of the place. I mean, there's literally no staff here. So whatever rooms you were in before and whatever state you left them in is exactly how you find them now. Easy enough for y'all to get some sleep. Thomas, what, if anything, are you up to while the rest of the crew is sleeping? Although, let me back up a second. Abby, are you waving him over as if to say, I'll take care of it now? Or are you waving him off as if to say, I'll deal with it when I wake up?
Yeah, she is face down in a
Okay.
bed.
Got it. Great. So the question stands. While everyone is crashing out for the next 6 hours, what is your plan, Thomas?
Oh boy. I kind of want to try to repair myself. I kind of want to try to repair myself a little bit.
That's insane, love.
I know, right?
My son.
I mean, I took the ability
Okay.
to so that way
Yeah.
in case I need to, I could try.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like well, I'll deal with the other two at a later point. No need to.
And if I remember
Yeah.
correctly, the only way this goes south, not to put any further jinx on it, but it's
I think I have to crit fail for
yeah,
to like
I think that's it. All right, you want to describe what it looks like and where you're undertaking this?
yeah. Man, this guy here, Dartman, he don't give two shits about anything.
He does not.
Yeah, so I just go to a table and lay out a bunch of tools and take off the outer layers of clothing and just kind of like look around and see like what parts do I think that I can get to fix and see if I can get like one of these wounds taken down.
Great. What parts do you identify as the target?
I think just based on that I can't see like everything part of me, right? Is I think there's like areas in some of like the joints of the arms, some of those bending places. There's like pieces that are pulled out of their socket, bent a little bit. And maybe like a broken paneling in another area, things that are like superficial-isk, but like I wouldn't be able to get to any interior parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think like arms, maybe leg like kind of stuff.
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay. That's
All
a
right.
4. We
Yeah.
take those.
Yeah, hell yeah. Spectacular. So initially unsure of yourself, you begin to sort of root around in Abigail's toolkit, maybe second guessing the tool that you pull out to try and address this particular issue. But once you start working on it, you sort of find a rhythm and your training kicks in a little bit. And yeah, I mean, not like what the good doctor does, but it'll do in a pinch. Well done,
Yeah,
Thomas.
thank you. I've been studying the master. Cool. That really takes care of one wound. Takes an hour to do that. I think I'll leave the rest to the good doctor. The rest of the time, like I'll do a patrol around the place. I'll just check to make sure that the animals are okay. And Yeah, I'll deal with the other two later.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and deduct 1 from the quantity of mule food that is carried on each of the mules, so that we know that they're being fed today. I
I will
think
do that.
I think the only other thing of interest that occurs is during the repair. While you're repairing yourself, at one point, Mr. Alomar sort of turns around and says, "Hey, let me ask you something, fella," and just stops halfway through and is like, "Never mind," and goes back to throwing darts, and that's the last thing he says to you. You know, catches you midway through this process and is just like has just written you off as no, too foreign for me to understand or deal with. I'm not getting involved in that nonsense. Yeah, Cornelius, it sounds like maybe just the conversation or possibility that this would be occurring might have affected your night terrors a touch and slipped into your dreams. Do you want to discuss that any further, or is this just a little flavor that you're adding to your
No,
night
just
terrors for
kind
the
of
evening?
like when he has to get up from the nightmares, we've talked about like seeing things in those moments and just like walking through the tap room and seeing self surgery and then
Fantastic.
having to do the double take of like, wait, that wasn't an illusion, but also that wasn't what I thought it was either.
Okay, excellent. Cool. Well, yeah, you are able to get your sleep um without issue, outside of Cornelius, of course, who continues to always have issues when it comes to sleeping. Also, um, I believe, I don't think anyone has so many PowerPoints that you wouldn't recover all of them during this time. So, yeah, those of you that have PowerPoints can recover that. Those of you that have ammunition, just as a bit of record keeping, you currently have 0 ammunition on you as a result of the 12-hour push to escape the Taylor's lair. But you're
There is ammo on one of the mules.
there is ammo on one of the mules. Right. So you are not completely ammo-less as a party. I'm just saying what you have on you, right? It has been depleted.
Abigail is in fact completely ammoless because I only ever bought 1 box of ammo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't shoot much. Normally.
I shoot a lot.
Yeah. What is the plan as we are rejoining the waking world? And we'll call it let's see, if you got out of there at 6, and we'll just say an hour or so to get back and 6 hours of sleep and the additional 2 hours of futzing around. So we'll call it maybe between 2 and 3 in the afternoon.
Sounds about right. I tell the doc that I fixed what I could myself, but there's still some clanging noises. A couple gears don't feel right.
Oh dear. Okay. First off, show me what you fixed, and then I'll get to the rest. I just want to make sure nothing was missed.
Yeah, show you the work that I've done.
This is very good. I'm especially impressed given that this is somehow your own spine. I don't know how you fixed that, but you did. Sight
That one was
unseen.
mostly by feel.
Let me see what I can do about the rest. Ooh, just in case, I do still have some bennies. Yes, I do. But this does take an hour, so I will
Takes an
spend
hour.
breakfast. Why am I still? Oh, wait, hold on. My fatigue and wounds should be gone from rest, right? Natural healing.
Yes.
Okay. Trash the wound penalty. Trash the fatigue penalty. That would still leave you wounded, right? If I only heal one.
No, because I succeeded. I repaired one wound, and if you
Oh.
succeed, that repairs the second wound.
There we go.
Spectacular.
Good as new.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. What do you think about this place? Given that I sort of assumed that all the things we had heard about the dead getting up and moving around would have been the hellhounds and their skin jackets, but it seems now that this is a wider spread problem here than we had realized, and has nothing to do with them at all.
I mean, it's a pretty handy way to hide your base if no one's gonna come looking. I guess we did though, so.
Well, I thought everything in the Tattler was just sensational, but now that I know it's all true, I can't wait to tell Daniel.
I really more meant, is this, I mean, I know we have other things to do, but this town is basically deserted because of this. Is this something we're worried about spreading to nearby towns? Is it something we want to try to put to find a root cause of? I mean, I suppose if we could get a hold of one of those zombie creatures, the ones with flesh on them, I could do some sort of autopsy, but even that might not explain much, given that there were ones with very little to no flesh left over. I mean, we do have to consider that while it's contained here in Jefferson, yes, Jefferson, while it's contained here for now, this could be something that could spread. That could be a serious problem. I suppose that a high temperature destruction of the corpses might work, but I don't know. Perhaps we would go down to their former lair tonight or tomorrow night and find that none of the bodies remained, that they had picked themselves up and taken themselves back.
Could dig up what graves aren't disturbed and kill whatever's in there. But I don't know about dark magics.
I mean, if it isn't about like the people being cursed, then it's the place that's fucked up, right?
And you
Eventually.
just wish that to be fixed.
I mean, I can like ask for a town to be healed, but I don't know what that means. So maybe I think I need to know what what it means for that to be true, maybe.
Honestly, I feel like this place is just far beyond what we can fix. The last place we helped, we knew what was going on. Kind of just stumbled into this.
Plus, there's a lot of dead left, and it took a long time to dig one grave. Maybe we just. This town's already dead. Maybe we just leave it that way. There ain't no reason for these folk to be here no more.
Yeah, I think it's best we move along. Don't know that we could do anything besides leave money for these folks, which has already been done.
Where, where do we plan on going?
To the other mills. And then we
Yeah.
look for. What was that person's name? The Herald?
Alberta Bell?
Hmm.
I'm
Find
gonna
out
kind
where
of
she.
look around the room for any of the locals and ask if they've heard that name.
The only person in the building right now is Roberto Alomar,
Mm.
and he's throwing darts, and he turns and says, I'm sorry, I've been zoned out entirely. Do you need something?"
You ever hear the name Alberta Bell?
Tilts his bowler hat to the side as he reaches up and scratches his head. Says, I, I, I reckon not. I don't.
Someone,
Where would I know that name from?
the name of someone who goes by the Herald. Is that another name? Anything you hear?
No, but we don't see too many folks around here, and when we do, I don't ask no questions.
Yeah, the answer's that. We
It
don't
is.
rightly know
Yeah, go ahead.
where this person is. Franklin, it has, I'm sure, occurred to you as well, and you'd mentioned that maybe heading towards Santa Fe is where we may find this person, which would be further west, Thomas.
Well, we can head after them or finish what we started with the mills.
It is about at this point that Al and Alexa come running in and say, Al's like, Mr. Thomas, I think there's some trouble brewing. And that is about the time that you start to hear the thundering of horses, and then maybe even the rattle of some wagon wheels. And he puts you all here.
That looks bad.
What is it? What's the trouble?
There's a whole bunch of people coming.
Folk you recognize? The normal deliveries or passerbys?
He go get my bag.
Alexa says, "W- We don't know you. We ain't ever seen you. We ain't ever done any business with you. And she puts the money down on the table and runs upstairs. The money that
Sounds
you paid her
good.
to watch the stuff, puts it on the table and runs upstairs. Al does not return the money, but does run up the stairs after her. Roberto continues to just throw darts.
Can I go get the bullets from outside?
Oh, okay.
I scoop the money and I stand up with you. With you.
Yeah.
Load a
I ain't
few
got time
green
for it
test
right
tubes.
Can we look out the? Actually, I'll just open the door to see. I want to see like where these people are.
Mm-hmm.
All right, is this them coming into town right now?
What you see, right, are a bunch of the hellhounds. Some of them have these wolves on leashes. And you see 4 wagons, one facing y'all with 2 horses and an individual standing in front of it. And you see 3 wagons facing away from town behind that first wagon. And on one of those wagons in the back, you see somebody sitting on top of it. That person looks like this. And you hear her call out, "Oh, good. You're still here. I'm glad we caught you."
I just turn the head to to Saint. Run.
Where's our cart?
This is our cart over here,
Yeah,
right?
your cart's over here.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all don't need to run anywhere. I brought you a gift. Something I'm sure you've been looking for. Or if you haven't been looking for it, you'll be happy to get your hands on it. Why don't you have the rest of your friends come out here?
Everybody. Yeah, come on out here. I'm too dead. I'm tired. I'm tired, boss.
Stand next to Tom.
Right out in the middle of the road.
Howdy
I
there.
remember what happened last time. I don't think I'll do that.
I can't move. There.
It's a fine day we're having here.
Well, I know that's not all of you, but if that's all of you that's going to be joining us, I guess I'll have to make my introduction. I was hoping I'd only have to do this once. And you know what? I will only do this once. You can inform Cornelius that I'm Miss Alberta Bell. Y'all have been putting a real hurting on my operation. I asked Mr. Rice to put an end to it, but guess he had a soft spot for y'all and thought he could talk some sense into you. Well, I guess we all proved him wrong, didn't we? I was upset to find out that you burned my Red River Mill to the ground. Took a while.
Why does he think that was us?
Took a while to set up that body farm.
Didn't take that long to tear it apart.
I
Hey,
mean,
hey, Thomas, I don't have bullets.
Oh,
Let's keep
don't
that
you
together.
don't you worry your pretty little head about it, Franklin. We're going to give you an opportunity to get some. Because
God damn it.
I brought y'all, as I said, I brought y'all a present. You specifically a present, Franklin. You
Fuck.
see, after I found out that you burned down my Red River Mill, I got a group together and hightailed it over here to make sure you hadn't done any more damage. But apparently I was too late. You've taken the Taylor. And that puts a real hurting on my operation. I got a lot of rebuilding to do.
Oh, what a shame.
And I can't have you folks mucking it up any further. So, I'm going to leave a group here to deal with you. And I'm pretty sure they'll get the job done. But if they don't, I did take out a little insurance policy.
Yeah.
And that is, while most of us hightailed it down here to try and protect the Taylor, I did send a group out to Houston where you tried to mislead me and make it look like you were heading east. And I know that Sister Winter has some protection. But do y'all really think she's got enough to protect herself from me and mine?
I don't think you've seen their shooting show.
You don't know what we've seen. And she reaches down into the sort of footwell of the wagon that she's sitting on, and she pulls up a burlap sack and opens it and dumps it out, and a clown's head rolls out of it. Now, Franklin, you're going to want to go get your bullets because you're going to love what I brought you. He failed me once, so now he's going to meet his end here one way or the other. And the door of the closest stagecoach opens up, and you see a familiar hat and a familiar duster and familiar locks spilling out from underneath it. And what you hear as the crowds part, let me do some rearranging here. Crowds part, and you hear some whistling as a certain Jim Rice walks out into the middle of the thoroughfare and says, "Well, Franklin, I guess I should have tried to kill you when I had the chance. But now, I'm calling you out. It's going to be you and me in the middle of this street, once and for all, and for good." And what you see as he pulls his duster open to reveal his gun belt is that all the skin below his neck has been removed.
What a nasty
shit.
freak. What a nasty
fucking-
freak this guy.
Yeah.
He's fucking.
And
That's so like metal. I'm gonna be honest. That's like the most metal shit I've seen.
Yeah.
and that
But
is
also, he's
where
kind
we
of just street flashing us.
that is
Yeah.
where we are going to call session.
Well,